We can mute the TV though, right?
Welcome to the latest edition of Millennial Boom with Diane Faith and Stanley Roberts, where almost no subject is off limits. Now, here are your hosts, Boomer Diane Faith and Millennial at heart, Stanley Roberts.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
You guys got a little snippet of us earlier, huh?
That was a snippet. That was just a trash frame. I don't think that counts as a snippet.
Hey, look, now there's fire in the window.
Hey, there's a fire everywhere. Fire. Oh, everything's on fire. Now that's a fire.
Now that's a fire.
Make sure everybody. So anybody say they can't hear us?
Happy December.
Hey, yes, we are on time.
We are on time. Hey, baddies.
Happy Sunday.
Badlies. Baby Veronica says, hey, badlies.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Happy December.
Happy first
3rd
Sunday of December.
Yep, and happy to all the roofless renters that are out there taking advantage of the system.
Oh gosh, really?
And,
no, let's not give a shout out to those people.
Oh, okay.
Happy 22 days until Christmas.
You know what that means?
What?
6 months till July 4th.
I don't think that's correct. Oh yeah, you're right. 6 months and 1 day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 months and 1 day to July 4th. But it's also 6 months and 1 day after my birthday.
Oh.
That's right.
6 months and 1 day. Today is 6 months and 1 day. Yes. Happy 49er win. Yes.
Niner Bang. Hey, you notice how they keep saying Niner Bang Bang? They have that from E40.
Oh yeah. Gabriel's right. July 4th is 7 months from tomorrow, not 6. Because that would be June. And I didn't even correct you. And I didn't even catch it.
Hey, what did I say? If I want to say it's 6 months, it shall be. So let it be written, so let it be done.
Okay, so let you be wrong.
Right. I'll be wrong. It's okay.
All right.
Hello. Hey, so if you haven't read yet, I have jury duty again. I seem to have an inordinate amount of jury duty.
Did you have a jury duty in Arizona?
I think twice.
I did not have jury duty at all in Arizona.
I'm like, how do I get... I had jury duty when I was here like a dozen times. And the crazy part is, I get jury duty. People always say, why do you have jury duty? They're never going to pick you. I think they give me jury duty and make me sit there just to not pick me. Because I'm always the last person sitting in the room, even in Arizona. And then they go, oh, you're dismissed. I'm like, you could have done that like in the beginning. They dismissed me like 3 days into it, sitting around like, it is, don't get me wrong. I love to do my civic duty, but sitting in the waiting room to do jury duty and knowing that you're not going to get a case, it's so
But what if you do get a case?
I've never gotten a case to this day.
I've never gotten a case either.
Okay, so here's everything where I won't get a case. They'll kick me out. Okay, I'm
because you're a
public figure, number one.
You're media.
I'm media, number two. I look for bad behavior, number three.
Well, that's what's sitting on a trial.
Right, but they would assume that I am biased because I look at bad behavior.
Okay.
Even though I would be totally, I'll just say, objective and look at everything, look at all the facts, because this is America.
This is America,
and you are guilty until proven innocent.
Okay, that is what I think people automatically assume in America, but that's not what it's supposed to be.
So if they're already guilty, why kick me out?
Okay.
It's just facts.
So,
I mean, okay, you could be guilty by social media too. You ever seen somebody did something and they may or may not have done it? I had this conversation with someone the other day, and you tell me if I'm wrong. But if you are accused of a crime, whether or not you did not commit that crime, you will forever be held over your head as maybe. Like, here's a good example. So if a guy gets accused of rape, and I hope never happens to him, but they did nothing at all. They were just accused of rape. They go to court and prove that the person is innocent, not guilty, but actually innocent.
Their name has already been.
Their name is already out there. Well, he was accused of rape.
Yeah.
And I think he did it.
And accused is different than actually like convicted, found guilty, So
right. So I mean, but it's that thing that you're stuck in your head forever that person was possible rapist. And so I'm reading a comment. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was looking at it too.
So it's crazy because like now, like I'm not saying that he didn't do it or he did do it, and he didn't admit any guilt.
And then you're gonna bring up.
But he did settle the next day.
Yeah.
Now
P. Diddy. We're talking about P. Diddy and
I'm not going to say that he's guilty. But if once you settle that quickly, you kind of open up floodgates for more people to come out of the woodwork.
Which happened.
Because they figured exactly.
There were more lawsuits there were more accusations.
When they know that you're paying money, they're in the water.
Yeah.
I mean, I hold it against his lawyer. The lawyer said, you know what? I know he probably had some stuff he didn't want to get out there. She might have had something on him. He may have done something. But when you settle it was less than 24 hours. Yeah. She wanted $30 million. He said no. She said, I'm gonna sue you. He said, oh wait. And then she said, okay, here's your money, undisclosed amount, and he didn't admit guilt. But the implication is that he settled so quickly that he was hiding something. Well,
and I think I saw in one of the comments someone that's in law school. I mean, again, it's the comments on social media, but someone said that they were in law school, and it's kind of like a known thing that if you settle, you're not necessarily admitting to guilt, but like the assumption is that there's some sort of guilt there. And I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, never went to law school, but I think people usually assume that because they're like, dang, why'd they settle so quick? Why can't they just let a trial play out? Because that would have been a must-watch trial.
Oh, by the way, so let me go backwards for jury duty, because when I was here before, I had it, and I would, first of all, Crown be like, wait, you have jury duty? I had to prove it that I had it, because they wouldn't believe they actually called me for jury duty.
Oh, you're having jury duty for the first time without for working for yourself.
This is the first time I'm doing it for myself.
Yeah.
But that's when I was with Crown. Now, the interesting part of it is that I went in there, but I have this still strange, it's starting to realize that I don't just blend in. So I went there thinking I could just.
At jury duty? Do you think you can blend in anywhere?
No, okay.
I mean, we literally would go places to like eat or like just walk around, and someone would be like Stanley Roberts. So I don't think you could ever blend in.
But just to be fair, I went to jury duty, and they sit you in a room full of people. And you know what happens if I sit for too long, right?
Oh, you fall asleep? I didn't know. Do you want to admit that?
No, let me say no. It wasn't on the trial.
But you do. But is that the answer you were looking for?
No,
that you fall asleep?
Sometimes I doze off because I'm bored. If I don't have, I'm like those kind of people. If I'm not constantly in motion. Now, if I'm driving, no sleep. But if I sit down, I'm done. And I sit down and watch TV. So apparently, I'm in jury duty at Redwood City in the room, and it's full of people, and I'm thinking I'm blending in. nobody's gonna notice me. It's just
you could never
no.
blend in.
This was way back when I had
You might blend in like you might. No, you would never blend in.
But no, here's how it would happen. Though. So I'm sitting there, and next thing I look around, and nobody paid no mind, right? And I'm like, okay.
So you think?
So I'm thinking nobody noticed it. Woo! I'm like, and so it's finally time to go, and the guy. And matter of fact, it was. Tell you how far back it was. It was when Brooke was a baby. That's how far back it was.
Your jury duty?
Like 18 years ago. So I get up to go because they're like, okay, you guys are all dismissed, go home. And the guy who's, the guy who's in the room who keeps track of everything.
Wait, hold on. Did you get left there?
No.
Okay.
No. Let me finish. So we all get up to leave. it was a quick, you wake up. Don't mean, the nod thing.
Yeah. I've woken myself up by nodding, but not by snoring.
So,
yet you're doing this show without falling asleep.
Because I'm actually in action right now.
Because he's engaging. Because he's not bored.
I'm not bored.
He's not bored, guys. Yeah. Are you saying we're boring?
Ooh, snap. So I get up and I'm leaving. And the guy who makes sure that everybody's in order and make sure you're not doing anything wrong and you're not talking amongst each other, he says to me, "Oh, so I see Smile behaving badly, taking a nap, huh?"
Busted.
I go, wow. I didn't think nobody, you thinking.
You don't, number one, you don't blend in like ever. And number two, someone is bound to know who you are. That's just like, and I'm not even saying that just to say that. After being with him for so long, when you go out in public, I am just used to people like going up to him. And in fact, I think it's cool. And it's funny, if they ever want to take a picture, I'm always the one that's like, hey, I could take a picture of you guys. But he always likes to do like selfie style and hold the phone. And I'm like, I just take the picture.
Yeah, I don't like people.
He likes to do the.
I feel like when you're doing that, it's like a high school picture. Okay, pose.
Okay, but for some people, selfies are high school photos.
I guess. So just like the other day, we found this really great burger joint.
Yeah.
And we didn't find it. It wasn't like it was lost.
Yeah. Well,
we just had never been there before.
We didn't. When you actually didn't necessarily discover it either, it's because the owner of a breakfast
another
joint
restaurant that has a brunch.
Yeah.
Called Skillets in Fremont. So she. Priscilla Bravo has been trying to get us to come to Roy's,
Billy Roy's in Fremont. Burger Company, yeah.
Now, I'm thinking that it's like a little burger point. You go there and it's like a little spot, you get a burger. And, everybody has a burger. It's fine. Everybody has a burger. Everybody has burgers now. You can get a burger from freaking 7-Eleven now. Yeah.
You can?
Oh, pretty much. It's in like aluminum foil. Remember?
I don't know. I'm really picky about where I choose.
And we get there and the parking lot is about the size of a football field. Mm-hmm. We had to drive for like 100 yards just to park inside the parking lot.
It's huge.
And we got inside. It was gargantuan.
They have a lot of TVs, guys.
As a matter of fact, I posted some of the footage on Instagram and Newsbreak.
And Twitter.
So you can see the stuff. And they're not I call it your non-traditional hamburgers. Why do I call them that? Because
they actually use steak instead of ground beef.
Instead of chuck.
Ground
chuck. They use an actual ribeye. And it's tender, and it's juicy, and it's flavorful.
I had the Angus burger.
And you had Angus. Was it real burger or was it a steak? Burger.
I think it was real burger.
Okay, yours was a burger.
Yeah, mine was a burger.
So mine was an actual steak. And it was like
a ribeye steak.
Oh, and it was
Dave Mance's gas station burger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gas station burgers.
7-Eleven, I didn't know they had.
Oh, they have burgers, but you don't trust me. You don't want one.
Oh, I'm not gonna have.
It's like five. It's like I think it's like when they said the thing that says over a billion served, but that was like enough to just one cow.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do 7-Eleven burgers is when you ain't got nothing else to eat. It's after an earthquake.
Or it's like if you're on. If you're on the road.
It's after an earthquake, and there's no place else open but the 7-Eleven because they got a generator. And all they got is these burgers and these little hot dogs that are rolling around for like forever.
I know 7-Eleven also has pizza, right?
Oh, they have cardboard with pizza topping.
Okay. Ew, that sounds disgusting. So we checked out this. Oh, thanks, Big Bucks Bradley.
Oh, how come you got it before me? Oh, by the way, how do you guys like our new setup? It's got a little bit of depth, a little bit of feeling, a little bit of fire.
Well, Gabriel. Oh my gosh, what is going on? Gabriel did point out that we can now see the fire. Yeah. But now it's funny because you see that you could see it through the window.
Yeah, no,
That's cool. That's called reflection.
It's called a reflection.
I know. The food and restaurant looked really good, but I'm not a fan of chalkboard menus.
Well, their menus aren't actually chalkboard; they're actually TV sets.
Yeah, they're actually not chalkboard. Yes, you're right. They're
actually TV sets to get the appearance of chalkboard.
Yeah.
So, and also I've been talking to them about making a burger. I won't see if they do it yet. We'll wait and see. But I pitched an idea for a burger that we like.
Yeah, don't mention it.
We're not going to mention it yet. We're going to see if it pops up, and if it does, it's going to be, it's going to be the bomb. Trust me.
Thank you. Setup is nice, says Dave Man.
Thank you, Dave Man.
We put up our tree.
All we did was turn 2 inches to the right, and then
yeah, because normally we're like right
2 inches this way
on that side.
Instead we went 2 inches that way.
Yeah.
And then I set up.
And it was his idea because he was like, "Hey, why don't we have the fire on the TV as the background?" And I was like, "Oh, that's not a bad idea."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we set the TV on fire, and there you go.
He set it on the crackling fire on YouTube.
Yeah, the crackling fire on YouTube for 12 hours of crackling fire.
Now we actually do have a real fireplace, but it's like
we would have to change we'd have to change the entire house.
So it's like actually right behind me this way. So we would have to we couldn't have it in the background.
Yeah, I couldn't have it in the background.
Inches don't measure angles.
It does in my book. 2 inches this way, change the complete angle.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways. So you have to, going back to the jury duty, you have to check in and see if you actually have to show up. Meanwhile,
I have to call tomorrow to see if I'm supposed to come in.
Meanwhile, I probably shouldn't mention anything about me and jury duty because I don't want to jinx it.
I think you should have it. You haven't had jury duty since I've known you.
I haven't. No, you have. I have. I had jury duty in LA. And we weren't living together, but I had jury duty when I was living in LA. That's the last time I had it. And I got out of jury duty because the case that I made it to certain, I had to go back a couple of days. So I didn't just get out on one day. I had to go back. But I was working for CBS in LA at the time. And the case was a house fire where they found the body of a transgender male inside. And they were trying to figure out if it was like homicide. But the interesting part about that is I remember us doing that story on our station and like just knowing all the details because of, like the police reports and stuff and like what our reporter found and the interviews and stuff. So I was really actually familiar with the case, but because I worked for the media, they let me go.
Yeah,
they just let me go. I said, I'm familiar with the case. I'm familiar with the story because we've covered it extensively. And I said, but I do work for the media, just so you guys know. And they asked me if I could like be unbiased, and I was like, well, I'm not part of the story, so yes. But I think because I worked for the media, they didn't want me to have any part in it.
Lawyers.
I think that what they were concerned about was because I worked for the media, they were thinking I was going to go back and tell the TV station like all the things that were happening during the trial.
Well, you know that,
and I'm not supposed to do that, and I would not do
that. Contempt of court.
But I assume that's why they let me go, though.
No, they let you go because they didn't like you.
Anyways, so I was happy that they let me go because I think that one of my friends told me that she was part of a trial for 6 months, and she said it was really draining, but it was also a cool experience because the trial itself was draining, but it was a cool experience taking part and having that responsibility. But I've never gotten that far. I think I went for 2 days and that was it. So
yeah, well, what I do is when I go to trial, I just blog the whole trial. Yeah, and the judge is coming in right now, and there we go, and here we go. Guilty. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, we haven't gotten evidence. Just kidding.
Yeah, right. No, just for that. Just for that, you jinxed yourself.
I know, the judge had me forever. Forever and a day. Forever and a day.
Don't say
anyway, before we get back off the subject.
Don't sing.
I know. Billy, this is not, they're not paying us to say this.
Billy Ray?
Yeah.
Billy Buck. Wait, how did I forget the name again? Billy Ray Burgers. What did I call it? Billy Bob.
The food is the bomb.
The food is really good. And they have the thing, and yes, we're not sponsored by them, although we would love if they could sponsor us. That would be awesome. But they have such a great variety of food. So they have burgers, they have wings. Interesting enough, they have clam chowder, they have beans, and then they have this whole area in the back that's all desserts.
All candy and cookies.
Yeah, they have candies. Well, stuff that like I will partake in a very little, like not often at all. But
the place is huge.
Every now and then it's nice to try things.
They have a bar. I mean, they have everything. It's like an adult playground.
Like if you wanted to watch today's 49ers Eagles
game. Thank you, Dave Mann, for the super chat.
Thanks,
$1. Thank you.
That would be a good place to go watch a game because they have TVs.
They have like 900 TV sets.
They have a lot of TVs, yeah.
TVs all up in the headsets.
So
my recommendation is if you want brunch, try Skillets, good food.
In Fremont.
And if you want a good burger,
try Billy Roy's.
Try Billy Roy's.
No, Billy Ray. No, wait.
Billy Roy's.
Is it
Billy Roy's?
Why am I messing up their name?
You're thinking of Billy Ray from
Billy Ray Cyrus?
No, Billy Ray from Eddie Murphy.
And then I thought of Billy Bob too.
Thornton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Beep. It's just told you. It's fine. Leave it alone.
Oh, it is Billy Roy's. Okay.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'm gonna change something.
So if you're local, check those places out. If you're not local and if you're ever visiting, check it out.
All right, so I'm gonna change subjects for a minute. There is a story I was reading. I shared it on Twitter about an hour ago, maybe less than that. I'm sure Gabriel will tell me how long ago it was. And as a matter of fact, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put my phone on disturb. There we go. So it's a story about when did I share it? I'm trying to find when I shared it so that way you can find it. It's recent, and it was about here we go. The real estate. It's a story about real estate, and the guy's account is called The Real Estate Lawyer, and he was dealing with an eviction
in Santa Monica.
But it wasn't just an eviction; it was a professional squatter. Is a good word to say it. The person literally squatted in the house for over 2 years. Didn't pay any rent. Used the eviction moratorium as a way to get around paying any rent. And it went on and on and on and on to the point where it literally took them almost 2.5 years, 3 years to get him out of the house. And it was just you got to read it. I don't normally read long posts on X, but this one caught my attention because it was really, really intriguing that what some people will go through. For example, if let's say we decided to rent a room and we rented a person, they found her on Craigslist. She came in, she was so obnoxious.
That was mistake number one.
First mistake.
Craigslist.
She was so obnoxious that all the other tenants, people that were there, said, I can't take this, and moved out. So then she basically
took over the whole place
and locked herself in the house. And when the police came to finally evict her after all these years, she locked the door and they had to kick the door in. So she did everything she can to make sure that the tenant, and they went through so many different litigations. It was like dozens and dozens and dozens. She would file like at the last second so that they couldn't make the deadline. It's just crazy. You got to read it. I want to tell you the whole story, but it's amazing what some people do. And the part that makes me upset is that this is what happens. If you're a law-abiding citizen, you don't get a break. You actually don't get a break.
Oh, because
because you're doing everything right, but because someone like that does everything wrong, you catch heck for it. Like for instance, if people run the stop sign on the corner of 4th and 5th Street, and I know those streets can't match, but in San Francisco they actually do match. 3rd crosses 4th, which I never figured how that works. And everybody ran the stop sign, and then one day you said, well, everybody runs it, I'm going to run it. Then you get pulled over.
Yeah.
And you're like, but everybody runs the stop sign.
Yeah, but they didn't catch everyone. They only caught you. That's right. How it would work, too.
Quentin Wu, are you in San Francisco or where now? We're back in the Bay Area. We've been here for over a year. We've been here.
He says, welcome back to the Bay Area.
No, he said, are you in San Francisco or where now?
Yeah.
We are back in the Bay Area. We're not in San Francisco proper, but we can see it out of our window.
If that helps.
Hi,
Jeanette. Jeanette says,
yes, we do have a U log in the background.
We do.
Yeah, not able to be evicted due to government regulations and theft of property by the government. But people have become professionals about it to the point where they are so good that, and you're like wondering, what did I do wrong? I didn't do anything, but it's not what you did. It's people who've abused the system for so long. Just like in San Joaquin, they posted how they an Amazon truck was stolen, and all the stuff out of it was stolen off the truck. They tracked it back to a house, and it turns out that the house had all the stolen goods inside. And so that affects us as well because all this, all the stolen stuff. I mean, at some point, it all comes back to haunt us. And people say, "Oh, you got insurance," but we know, like, here's a good example of insurance.
The insurance doesn't cover stress.
No, but insurance also, every time there's a claim, everything goes up, exponentially rises and rises and rises.
Well, you end up the victim still ends up suffering, somehow anyways.
What's up, Maxim? Long time no see.
Oh my gosh, yes, Maxim. I haven't said that name in a long time.
Wow, next thing you know, we're gonna have F-bomb come back. Then you know we rolling in fire.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome
What's
back.
up, Maxim? Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody in the Bay Area. It's funny because I met a guy. I didn't meet him. I mean, we don't. And I asked him what his name was because I do it by habit. At Costco, he goes, "Stanley Roberts, you're back in the Bay?" And I go, "Yeah, I've been back for a year." He goes, "Oh yeah, that's right. I remember reading it."
No, that wasn't Costco. It was Sprouts.
Oh, Sprouts. Thank you. Now you know. Do you know what? Now you just told everybody we shop at Sprouts. There's only one Sprouts. Only one Sprouts.
Well, I think you just basically told everyone there's only one Sprouts.
No, everybody going to look it up and go, "Sprouts, which one?"
Okay, now you're giving people ideas. I'm sure they're not. No one was thinking that, but good for you in giving ideas.
All right, fair enough. So how are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
I see you got me on your chest.
Yeah, I'm wearing you today.
So timing has been off. Well, I hate to say break to you, Maxim, but our timing has been the same. Well, okay, if you listen to Gabriel, we're late every time. But relatively speaking, our timing is around 7-ish.
Maybe he's talking about something else.
No, he's talking about timing while he hasn't been here.
There's a Sprouts in Irvine, California, so unless that's the only one, there's more than one. See, exactly.
We're not talking. Irvine is 400 miles away.
Just stop now. Stop while you can. Just stop saying so much. You just keep talking and talking. I'm telling you to stop. Still love you, though.
Stop stealing my line. Anyway, so it's funny because when we go out together and we're walking around, people who even know us are like, "Oh, it's so nice to see you and your daughter out again."
I'm deceased.
And then, but here's where it gets.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna say what happened today?
Then it gets more interesting. So Diane's with her mom.
Oh, can we not? Let's not.
And
Sprouts in Palo Alto, baby Veronica. Sprouts in Palo Alto.
So that's it. We were right next to the one in Palo Alto.
Please stop. Stop while you can. Stop while you're ahead. Stop while you're ahead, please. Okay, anyways.
I gotta say it now. I started.
No, you asked me how I was doing. I'm actually not doing as great as I was 1 minute ago because you started telling that story.
Okay, you tell the story.
No, I do not want to tell the story.
It's actually kind of cute.
It's actually really not.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, she said nod and move on.
Anon said, yeah, nod and move on.
No, I'm saying that's what you're saysaying too.
Bill Van Ram said, my wife and I sold our rental house after we had to evict 2 tenants in a row for the loss about $100,000.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
Now I know why. Now I do understand why it's so hard to rent and why they do so much background checking because there's so much shenanigans out there, and it makes it hard for people who are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And almost to the point where the people doing the right thing want to do the wrong thing because.
No, I don't want to do the wrong thing.
I'm not saying you or I.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying there are people who, like, why am I doing this the right way when everybody else is getting away with it?
Yeah.
Like, why am I buying stuff at the grocery store when people are stealing everything?
But that's the thing, though. It's because you and I have a conscience. We know.
Well, it's not that we have a conscience because
I just do the right thing.
It's just that we were raised better.
Yeah. But my question is, the people that are doing these things and knowing they can get are getting away with it, like it like doesn't at all like bother you that you're doing something that's illegal?
Well, the problem now is that, how do I say this gently? A lot of crime that's taking place right now are being done by juveniles. I mean, I say juveniles.
The crime around here.
They're catching them and they're like under the age and they give them a slap on the wrist and they put them back out on the street. It's like catch and release because they decimated the legal justice system for juveniles. There is no more, there's almost no more court cases for juvenile cases. I'm not saying there are none at all, but they really are just slapping the wrist, keep on moving. And so the kids know they get away with it. So why is a kid, a 16-year-old, out joyriding in a stolen car at 2:00 in the morning? That's on the parents. The parents should know where their children are at all times. Their kids should not be out in the car with guns and drugs, robbing people at 2, 3. They shouldn't be out at all. But when you hear about them and they run from the police and they run with zero, they know they can't chase them. They drive through red lights. They do everything they can to get away, putting other people at risk. And who they blame for them putting everybody at risk? They blame the police to try to stop them, but then they blame the police for not stopping them. But do you know, it's taking an ad break. Stick around. Oh, you know what that means? So we're on an ad break. I don't know how long it's going to be for, but in some areas, if you're watching right now on Twitch, we're taking an ad break. So
that says YouTube.
Oh, well, maybe YouTube's taking an ad break too. Okay. So we do have ad breaks every now and then. We don't know how long it lasts because I don't get to see it.
So us talking right now means they can't hear us because they're on a break?
Twitter can hear us.
Oh, okay. Twitch,
it's an ad break.
I've never seen that before.
No, you won't. You have to be logged in to it. You won't see it.
No, I just saw it, Mr. T.
No, you won't see the ad break because we're live.
Oh, no, I'm saying I've never seen this before.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's good. We're getting the ad break. That means we've got the ads popping up. I don't know what they're about, but we'll see. Tell me what the ads were because we don't know. We don't subscribe to any ads if you see one.
Maxim says SF area is the major attraction for Bippin. Yeah, you know what's really interesting? I was on Instagram a few weeks ago, and I saw an ad for, I think it was a Ford, a car. It was a Ford. And the first thing that the woman in the ad did was walked up and say to the car, "Oh, look, we look good. We didn't get bipped." And I was like, and the thing was like California Ford or whatever. And I'm like, well, okay, well, this ad is specifically geared towards this area then. How do you walk up to a car in an ad and say the first thing you say is, we didn't get bipped? I was like, what? This is on Instagram. I should have, I mean, I don't think I could have.
I saw the ad.
Did you see the ad? So you know what I'm talking about. It's Ford, right? And
I think so, but I just know it's weird that we've incorporated bipping into commercials now.
I know. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And then there's a guy now. He has. Make sure I get this clear. His YouTube channel is called Channel 5, but he is in no way associated with KPIX Channel 5. And he's been walking around interviewing bippers. And
no, not bippers.
No bippers.
Retail theft. I thought.
Both.
Oh, okay.
He's been interviewing them all. He's doing these things on YouTube. Now, to be fair, he has 2.3 million followers
on YouTube.
But I think he had a cable channel for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so he's interviewing them. But what gets me is that he blurs their faces. I'm like, no, they want to be out there bipping and be in front of the camera. Put their faces out there on blast.
Yeah, I know. He blurred the faces. That was interesting.
Yeah, I would be blurring your face. If you want to interview me, I'm going to interview you and your bipper, you're going to be out there. I mean, if you have your mask on, I'm not blurring nothing. You're getting it the full straight. Here it is. So either you're going to talk to me or you don't. But I ain't trying to hide. If you're out there committing a crime, you shouldn't be able to hide from your crimes. You should be man enough. If you're man enough to commit a crime, you should be man enough to show your face. Oh, what? You don't want to go to jail? Well, then don't bip. I know. It's a novel idea, huh? You don't want to go to jail. So then don't bip. What do you think?
Bip. I agree. Don't bip.
Yeah, don't bip.
So someone wrote, Betty Veronica wrote, no ad break on YouTube. Anon says YouTube has ad breaks.
They do now. They've changed their formats.
Mm-hmm.
So for stuff longer than a certain amount of time, they have breaks. Now Twitch has ad breaks as well. And they will break in and tell you, and right in the middle of it, they'll drop an ad. I don't know when they are because we don't have the setup to look at it while we're doing this. So I don't know for a fact. But we don't really get much from the ad breaks, just so you know. I don't think I've ever gotten a check from Twitch. And we're doing this for 3 years. Yeah, I haven't gotten any money from Twitch. We're doing this for the last 3 years.
Almost 4.
Almost 4 years.
Not on Twitch, though.
No, we've been on Twitch for a while.
We've been doing YouTube. We started with YouTube.
Mr. Anderson, is that what it says? Hey, Stanley, did Disney let you keep those old tickets? Did they write void on them? Those are for a keepsake. Now, if you were paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
If you were paying attention to my Twitter or one of these social media feeds, we explained everything in detail. So first of all, when we went to Disney, and this is asking about the question, we already had tickets. We were just going to go there and pretend that we got in and look at this and blah, 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 and, create all kind of fun. But when we found out that they actually honor the tickets, it was mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did they monitor tickets, I figured it would be just for one park. They honored it for both parks.
Yeah, so it was a park hopper.
Now, we kept them. We have them we kept them locked away. We're going to probably frame them because we don't, those are pretty cool. And we'll call them our emergency Disney tickets. So when we want to have the emergency urge to go to Disney, we'll just grab them and go. But you still got to make reservations.
Yeah. That's a new thing, though, right? The reservation thing, because I don't remember doing that.
It's COVID.
In 2019.
It's so COVID, so they don't have too many people in there. It didn't used to be that way. You just show up, and 8 million people be there, and you'll be in line for 3 hours to ride a 20-second ride.
Yeah. As much as I loved Disneyland for my birthday. If I could do it all over again, I would definitely do it in 2 days and not one.
I would rather do it in 3 days. That way you can seriously pace yourself. Because we got there at 9.
10.
10. And we left at 9.
10.
10.
We went from 10 to 10, guys. We did 12 hours.
And when I got done, my arms were my arms were like this. My feet hurt, my legs hurt, my neck hurt, my back hurt. We ate too much of everything and not enough of everything.
My whole body hurt, and I'm still 21. I don't get it.
Well, that's the problem.
What, then I'm still 21?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Your body, your brain hadn't caught up with your rest of your bones. Just saying. Anyway, northwest south of Toledo, Flag City, US. Oh, by the way, let's chat for a second. So this month, I'm sorry, there was something called Giving Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a nonprofit, and I brought in a firm to try to help us raise some funds for Giving Tuesday. We've never done it before. We have a nonprofit. The money is tax deductible if you itemize, unless you own a company, and then you can give to lower your ratio overall. So we did the whole Giving Tuesday. We raised somewhere around $600, which will probably cover me when I go out to do some shooting. It won't some filming. Thank you. It won't. I mean, but it'll cover one going out to one shoot, one record one event. Because every time I say shoot, people go, "What?" Remember the guy that said I was
just going to say that, but I didn't want to interrupt you from Giving Tuesday.
Say it.
Well, so we were down at Pier 39 area earlier last week, and there was a guy he's an information guy. And so Stanley went up to him to ask him some information, but instead of asking him information about the actual area, he asked him some stupid information.
What's the circumference of a circle?
Oh yeah, and the guy was like, I don't know that math or whatever. And so then Stanley goes, oh okay. So he goes so I forget how we got on the line of how does he know or how long have you been working here? You asked him that. How long have you been working in this area? He said for about 8 months, right? Or no, and then he goes, how long have you been living in San Francisco? And I think he said for about 8 years. He goes, oh, okay. Do you remember that there used to be a guy that would just stand on the corner and he would start shooting people if they were doing bad things? And I started laughing because I was like, oh my gosh, I hope that guy doesn't think that.
Dude goes, wait, he shoots people for doing bad stuff?
And I had to jump in and be like, no. He films people when
we don't use film though.
I know it's really records, but I said film because in TV world we say shoot and it means record video, and he thought that Stanley was saying that the guy that whoever is standing on the corner is shooting people. So anyways,
that reminds me of, and we go back to the original story, was that I used to cover the prison a lot, and that's vernacular for when you're a photographer. You're a shooter.
Yeah, you're a shooter.
Go out and shoot some video. You shoot. So I go and I have to cover the president. This was George Bush.
Is it H-dubs or just regular?
The youngest one.
I said just regular.
The regular Bush, yeah. Not the big Bush, the little
not
Bush.
Not H-dubs, but just dubs.
And I walk in and it's because even us, we have to walk in and tell them, what we're here for. And I'm like, I'm here to shoot the president. And then I realized, oh, shoot, maybe that's the wrong choice of words when you deal with the Secret Service. But they laughed because they go, and they just laughed. And this is before I started doing people behaving badly. They just laughed and thought it was funny because they know. I mean, because you have to go through so much stuff. We had to put all of our stuff around. We get federal background checked every time the president shows up. We bring all our gear in. We have to leave it, go out the room. They have the dogs sniff.
That's a lot of work.
The dogs have to go and sniff everything and look for any kind of explosives. And then you have to go in and set up. And then bring the dogs in again and sniff around for explosives. Then you have to go through metal detectors to make sure you don't have anything on you that could be dangerous. And the reason why that is because when I was in LA, there was a photographer who showed up at the cover of the president, and the dogs were sniffing the vehicles and found a loaded gun in the car.
Oh.
He went to the range.
Wait, dogs can sniff out guns?
They sniff out gunpowder.
Oh, okay.
So,
that makes sense. Yeah.
So they were able to find out that dogs sniff out cell phones now.
Yeah.
They have a really good sense of smell.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Anyway, so going backwards, so it's funny that we did that. But what was I talking about before that?
Giving Tuesday.
Oh, so sorry, we got off track. So back to Giving Tuesday. So we did raise a little bit. We hope to raise more before the end of the year. We don't know yet. I mean, if there's a link on MrBadley.com, if you want to go there, you can see what it is. But the main purpose is we try to do some the main purpose of it was to do some government video recording. Some agencies require you to have a nonprofit to get the funds to do it. So that's why we set it up. But when we're not doing projects, I want to be able to go out and do our own stuff. And so to do that, we need to raise funds so we can go out and have security and whatnot to do these stories. So that's why we had it set up. And we tried to do the whole thing. It's weird because I really feel weird asking for money, number one. But that's the only way you can do it if you're a nonprofit. But I watch these like commercials that were on Giving Tuesday. And it's like they hammer you over and over again. And I expect any day now the commercials start coming out with the kids with the blankets.
St. Jude.
I don't know if it's St. Jude's, but whatever it is with the blankets, and you get this wonderful blanket if you donate. And did you know the kid is like 19 years old and makes like $200,000 a year?
You told me that, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
I think one of the things too is that I remember you had posted something about Giving Tuesday, and people there's some people that are really nice in the comments and some people that are not. And I remember this one comment said something about well, if you have to pay for security, then you probably shouldn't be doing what you're doing. And I think people fail to realize that and I just know this by observing and always being around him, is that he is recognized way more often than I think than a lot of people can actually think. We go out and there's never a day where someone doesn't notice who he is. And that happened to us in Arizona too, but it happens way more here for obvious reasons. And so I think that when people try to downplay the fact that he needs security, or the fact that his crew would need security, I think that they're not taking into account, first of all, he's noticed everywhere, and people don't like him. People don't like him for what he does. I mean,
not everybody. Some people like you.
People do like you, but some people don't, and they have agendas. Two is that it's really big here, unfortunately, that TV crews get robbed for their gear.
So during APEC, a guy showed up from Europe and was robbed the first day.
Yeah, I think it was it wasn't Switzerland. I remember seeing a story. It was
Czechoslovakia or something?
It might have been, but I do remember that story, yeah. But I mean, anyways, so when people try to downplay that stuff in the comments, I'm first of all, you guys are probably just trolls. But second, if you're not trolls and you're really not understanding where he's coming from or why he would need that security and it's not cheap either, then I wish that people would just try to at least understand if that was you, what would you need to protect yourself, putting yourself out there to do these kinds of stories? So
as a journalist, there's a progression of the amount of disrespect towards media. And a lot of it's blamed on, people who just talk down about media, or there's some case where the media has done stuff wrong and they act like the media is a monolith. Mm-hmm. In other words, it's controlled by one individual, and the one individual who controls everything is the one who basically tells everybody else what to do. And some people don't know the difference between opinion journalism and actual journalism. If you want to know the difference, AP has a book. A book of how to do it. You
mean the AP style book?
Yeah, the book that tells the journalists to write. For instance, you can't certain things you can't accept, certain things you can't do. I can't, as a journalist, have an opinion when it comes to reporting a story, because then I'm no longer if I'm going to have an opinion, it's I should have say in advance, hey, just for the record, this is my opinion and does not reflect X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, like you're having like a disclaimer or something.
Right. AP Style Book. Thank you, Jeanette.
That's what I said.
It sounds muffled for some reason.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Only reason before it goes away. You have a good relationship with CHP, right? You should try to get around with CHP covering Highway 4. Highway 4 is lawless, free for all. One day is great content. Trust me. So let's go backwards a little bit with CHP, because when we still have a good relationship, so to speak. There was some shenanigans that took place a long time ago when I lived in Arizona and I was starting to try to venture off on my own. So I came back, and because of
that was during COVID.
Because of all the different organizations out there claiming to be media, and a lot of them with agendas to come in and trash something. So they get a ride along and then they trash everything, that they decide to throw a blanket out to everybody that, we're not doing anymore. No more ride alongs. And if you do, you need to have X amount of kind of insurance, and you need to be from a bona fide agency. Now, because I'm independent now, I no longer have the being bona fide agency. So it doesn't give me the same rights as if I worked at Channel 4 or Channel 5 or Channel 2. But what happened was, and it started way back even before COVID, when everybody was a blogger. And every blogger in the world thought that they should have press credentials. And every blogger in the world wanted to show up at every event and blog about it. And so the police said, we can't give out credentials to everybody who claims they're a blogger. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people were just going in there and they weren't even covering the story. They were getting credentials to go in there and then write whatever they want to write about. It's kind of like when you have a event where you get to give public discussion and then someone comes in and rants about something totally off, nothing associated with it. Mm-hmm. So people are lining up claiming that, well, I have the right as a blogger to get credentials. And so they started cutting back on everything. And this was long before COVID. This was going on for a wee bit when the blogging thing was huge. And so what happened was, now it's hard. It's kind of like the people that squat in homes. Mm-hmm. They ruined it for everybody. Yeah. So even me it was ruined for. And remember now I'm trying to raise funds to do this. I can go out with them, but then, and I didn't have to rely on, I don't want to rely. Okay, let me try it this way. The original model we had was to try to put stuff on YouTube and hope we can and monetize.
Yeah. We think we talked about this, right?
We talked about
monetizing on a third party, being dependent on a third party.
So what I want to do with the nonprofit is, number one, it's a legit nonprofit. If you go on irs.org, .gov, you can see that we are listed in California and in the United States government as a legit nonprofit. We're federally recognized as a nonprofit. We're not. So I didn't just throw up the name nonprofit, but we actually went through the process and months and months and months. So while I was back here being quiet, I was in here, and she could tell you in the back room typing documents and trying to get things ready.
All you hear was
keyboards going, and me going, damn, how much more of this I can take? Oh my God, they sent this back. I got to do this again. It was over and over again, but I kept at it until one morning I wake up and it says, congratulations, we're pleased to announce you are now listed as a nonprofit. All you got to do is follow these certain rules and you're good to go. So this is not even my first year yet as a nonprofit. But as a nonprofit, it takes away some of the energy from people who don't like me. And when I say the energy of people who don't like me, it's very simple. There are people who literally went out of their way to get me fired from Cron, even though I didn't work at Cron anymore. They were legit trying to get me fired from a station I hadn't been at for 3 years. And so what they do is they try to use, and I understand the thing that Elon Musk went about how he didn't care about the
advertisers.
Because what happens is, I don't think it's not the advertisers I think he cares about. I think it's that the people who target your advertisers because they find an agenda that they don't like. So they go after the advertisers, and the advertisers will quickly shut things down to avoid conflict. So by creating a nonprofit, it allows people to donate anonymously or not, or on their own. Mm-hmm. They can put their name out there, or they be anonymous, and allows me to function without people going back and targeting investors, or not investors, but advertisers. Now, every year you have to turn in a list of everybody who advertised. So there is a way to know, unless you file for one, which is a 504 or whatever it is. There's another one that you don't have to do that, but also you don't get the tax deduction with it. So they can still go back and look at those records, but the average person is not going to go back and pull up 990s to see who gave you money, unless you really did something egregious. Now, there are people that sit around every single day looking for something to find wrong.
Those are the people that don't have jobs
who
or
don't have anything else to do but to look for stuff wrong. And I thank you for that. He said the one of the best reporters are the ones without agenda. We salute you for that. Czech News was robbed in San Francisco. Thank you. Czechoslovakia. This guy said check. Check.
Yeah, check.
So
what did I say?
No, you said
I said something wrong.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
it's not wrong. You just uninformed, and now we're informing each other. So now we know. We're gonna get it right. That's the best part about learning stuff is that you're not always got it right, but when you get it right, you can say it right, like you always say.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like you always say, be aware or whatever it is you say.
Stay ready.
Stay ready, so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
Right. So there we go. So what happens is, yes, and journalists are attacked every day. People are sitting around waiting for you to say something wrong so they can target your advertisers. And I learned if you stick to the facts, you don't give them any more. If you don't give any, if you
ammo?
don't start
not ammo.
giving your opinions
about
stuff, especially if your opinion is wrong, or at least if you're going to give your opinion, say it's opinion.
Be specific.
Be specific and say, hey, this is my opinion. This is not news. This is not fact. We haven't proven it yet. But in my opinion, this is what I think. It kind of covers you. Unless, of course, you start doing news and then injecting your opinion without saying a word that is your opinion and play it off as real news.
What are they talking about? We need to be puppets. William says this live stream would be more interesting if Stanley and Diane were replaced with puppets. They could do the voices while they sit below the desk with their puppet self sit behind the laptops. No thanks, William.
Yeah, we're not going to do all that, but thank you. We're not doing, remember the time that the station had something called the puppetry of the penis?
Oh, no.
So Channel 4 had a thing early in the morning called, and they had these guys that did origami with their penises.
That did what?
Origami. Is it called origami?
Origami is it the paper folding?
Origami, yes.
Yeah.
So they had a thing called penis.
On Cron?
It was in the morning. It was a bad idea from the very jump. They had these people that were supposed to do origami. They're supposed to be behind a curtain, so only the anchors could see them do the folding of their penises. Well, apparently the camera moved by accident. Oh, it was all over the news a long time ago.
When was that? Well, did I work
No,
there?
this was a long time ago.
Was this before I worked
I think this
there?
was when we were at NBC, I think.
Oh, my God.
And the camera, they said it was a ghosted Cron, and somehow or another one of the cameras decided to move on its own. And on national TV, on live TV at early in the morning, there were a quick shot of penises. And there was so many people got fired.
Wait, I'm not.
So many heads were rolling.
I'm not understanding. What is this show?
Yeah, this was big. Look it up. And no, you don't look it up.
Diane,
it was years ago.
Stanley said, look it up. And you said, no, don't look it up. I don't remember this. What?
Yeah, it was big. I remember. I wasn't part of it.
So was this like Cron 4 News?
Yes.
Cron 4 News. Cron 4 News?
In the morning, they had a morning show, and they had something called...
A morning news show?
Why do you sound like a repetitive...
Well, because I'm just trying to clarify. So, I mean, I work...
You know how the morning news has entertainment moments?
Yeah.
So their moment of entertainment was some guys
this was a segment.
That fold their penises on TV. What could go wrong?
How do you fold your penis on TV? What? I don't understand. What does the camera show?
Well, I don't know because I didn't watch it. I just know that it went horribly wrong.
I'm not understanding this, you guys.
It was at 6 a.m. Thank you. Yep, 6 a.m. Everybody's on the way to work, and all of a sudden there's penises on TV. It was a glimpse. It was a fleeting shot.
Betty Ronnie says it was big, no pun intended. I'm not sure what is happening about this.
Oh, wait. So Massa asked a question. We're going to switch gears for a second. This is important. What's your opinion about the DA Price kicking out the journalist this week? Her head of communications is a former... I just found out yesterday that Hazik is the... So here's the thing about Hazik. I taught Hazik how to become a VJ. He was technical, and he became a VJ, and I helped him. And now he's... I tried to call him, but I don't think his number is the same anymore. But what do I think about it? It's crazy because if they're bona fide journalists...
Why did she kick out a journalist?
She didn't kick him out. She never let him in.
Well, it says, "What's your opinion about DA Price?" Just so what was the journalist? Was the journalist?
They were having a press conference.
Oh, okay.
And then everyone was let in, but then they were told they couldn't get in, and it made a big. They reversed it, but they already missed what they were trying to do. That's like you and I showing up at a press conference. No, Stanley, sorry, you don't qualify as a journalist. You can't come in. Yeah, that would be the exact response. Yeah. Yeah, they tied their willies in knots.
What is happening?
Yeah, it was.
I don't.
You got to look it up, but not here.
I don't know if I want to look that up. It says the full story is available on the November 15, 2020 Millennial Boom broadcast. And apparently this broadcast is 18 plus now.
Wow.
Wait, so we talked about this November 15, 2020?
Apparently it made it to adult only.
You guys, I'm really mad because what if we then talk about this in 2026 during a podcast and it's like we talked about this December 3rd, 2023 already. It's like every 3 years.
Okay, I looked it up. The puppetry incident occurred in the Crime Morning Show, October 4th, 2002. A few months later, the station was fine.
Wow. 2002, yeah, I wasn't working at Crime
Actually, they were signed $400,000, but then it was taken down. And the reason why is because they went to court and fought it.
Oh my gosh, I have to look this up now.
You don't see anything.
No, I have to look up the details of the show. I'll look it up later.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's called, and it's crazy because I started Crime in 1998. So it was still NBC when it happened.
In 2002, it was still NBC?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we switched around 2003.
Well, all I know is when I got there, it was Young Broadcasting. So
yeah. So that was bananas. So back to everything else, everything being equal, it's some things just crazy when you think about the stuff you've been through and what goes on. And a lot of people's heads rolled on that one. There was a lot of heads rolling, and I was glad I wasn't part of that one.
Who worked for the morning show at that time?
I don't know, but they were all gone. It was a succession of firings after that one.
Who approved that?
Somebody thought it was a great idea to have penises on in the morning and not show them.
Oh my god.
Yep. Banana hammocks. Okay.
That's such a horrible idea. I'm completely shocked.
So I guess this one will be put down as 18 over.
I guess so.
Yeah.
This was right before the swap between Kron and Channel 11 and the affiliation switch.
Yes.
Yeah, because 11 became NBC. What? Bill Van Ram. I can't. Did you read that?
I read it. I'm not repeating it.
I'm not repeating it.
We're already 18 plus. We're not going
to make this thing. Well, what was that? What's that rating? NC-17?
Yeah. No.
For movies.
Oh, man. So anyway, back to the nonprofit stuff. So that's what we're doing it for, is that we can raise the funds tax-free to do the work that needs to be done. But the hardest part is convincing people to donate large amounts of money so we can do this. And it does take a lot. There's equipment that we have to buy. There's, even the just to give you an idea, the memory cards that we use are between $400 to $700 a piece. That's
a lot
for a memory card. But they're high-speed memory cards, so they're for 4K and 1040. And just so you know, we just wrapped up a project, which is we're waiting for something else to come back before we can close it out. But a lot of work, and we think what we did was it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll hopefully be able to,
it may be a press conference coming out about it. We don't want to talk about it in depth until they have a press conference or release the videos. But we've been working hard, and you see the time our clock has been off. It's almost time for us to wrap up. Mm-hmm. Here.
Yeah, is it 8 o'clock?
Yeah, we have a haunted clock, by the way.
Yeah, because the volume just fluctuates.
One day it's no silence; it's completely silent. And other days it's super loud. So who knows? All right, what else we got going on? Anything you want to talk about before we wrap it up? No, nothing new coming up for you?
Nothing new coming up for me. I'm just kind of waiting on something that's pending, and if it happens to work out, then we can talk about it maybe next week.
Yeah, so you're right, Jeanette. The cost for security alone is expensive, and I wish that we didn't need security. But progressively speaking, I know it's a play on words, huh? It started off with. So in the very beginning, it started off with just break-ins. They would break in the news van, try to steal equipment out of it. Progressed to gunpoints, pulling guns on TV crews when they're trying to do their job. And it used to be, remember, we used to see all the vans with the names on the Cron 4.
Yeah, they were marked vans,
They unmarked them so that way they couldn't identify which station they were with, so that to avoid that. I used to be part of the safety crew to make sure that we try to protect the crews. And the news stations did not want people to know they were being robbed. They did not want people to know that this was going on. They tried to keep it a huge secret. I even had a meeting once we were in, and I was talking to a GM who is no longer with the station that was in San Jose. But I told him, I said, when you stand on the corner and announce that you're going to be here live for the next 5 hours, the bad guys know where you are.
Yeah.
And he says to me, bad guys do not watch the news. They don't care. They're not going to show up because we're doing a live report. And I said, if you believe that, you're in the wrong business, because they absolutely do. You stand there, we're going to be here at this store. We had the winning lottery ticket. We'll be here all day. Guess what? The crooks are going to show up and they're going to rob you. And that's what they were doing. So it didn't get really bad until COVID happened. And then when COVID came up, it just became a free-for-all. Crews were being robbed. And they were robbing, just for the record, they were robbing not only news crews, film crews that were shooting commercials were being robbed at gunpoint. And all their gear. So they had to hire security, 3 or 4 guys to make sure. And even when they had security, the bad guys got the drop on them. They would show up with their guns already out. And if your gun's already out, there's nothing you can do about it.
You can't. Well, I mean, because if you try to draw, you'll get shot. So.
Yeah. So it's crazy. And security typically costs about $1,800 a day for just one bodyguard. And his job is to keep an eye on you, but sometimes he can't keep an eye on you and the equipment at the same time. Mm-hmm. So sometimes they have to hire 2. And you don't get a discount. Price is still the same. When I came to shoot Gotham by the Bay, that cost me so much money in security.
And I think the hard part about that, you did that story, you paid for security, you got the equipment, and then you were dependent on YouTube for monetization, and YouTube did not deliver.
Yeah, they didn't.
And that was the hard part. So I think when you talk about Giving Tuesday, and when you talk about just needing help from people to donate, right? You're talking about the fact that you no longer you want to put out this good quality work like you did with Gotham by the Bay and other series, and not have to be dependent on YouTube to pay you for it's almost as if you're letting YouTube decide that your series is the value of your series. And I absolutely don't like that you have to do that.
And Gotham by the Bay costs $10,000 in just security alone. $10,000.
That's a lot.
Yeah. There's only a $20,000 budget. $10,000 went to security. So I had to figure out how to make ends meet with what we had to work with, because we had to have security. One person it was crazy because, and one guy came to me and wanted to fight me because he said, this was in the Tenderloin, he literally said that I raped him in prison as a prison guard.
What? So, he said you were a prison guard?
I was a prison guard, and I raped him in prison, and he wanted to kick my ass. So my security detail had to break out batons and to get him away, because he wanted to fight me. He said I was his prison guard, and I raped him. So, so you're not only dealing with crooks, you're dealing with people with mental issues.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean I quit my job. No, it just means I need to find ways to support it. And unfortunately, it takes money to do all that stuff. You can't just go out and do free stuff. And everybody goes, well, you're a legend. And my favorite one was, well, just go out with a cell phone. No one's going to notice you.
Everyone notices him, whether he has a cell phone in hand or not. The problem is when they notice him, they always think that there's a camera around. So they always actually already think he's automatically shooting video.
So in your approximation, what percentage do you need security for yourself versus equipment? Well, the problem with the equipment is that if the equipment's left in the car, they will break the window out and steal it. If you're with you, then they'll rob you and take equipment from you and rob you.
So it's dependent on whether.
Remember, Kevin Nishida was at one point a bodyguard that I used. He was shot and killed when they tried to rob. And here's the self-fulfilling prophecy of that one. I saw in Arizona, the news that there was a robbery at a store in Oakland. And I said, oh, this is a setup. And you said, why would you try to set up? because they robbed the store and they know the news crew's going to show up and they're going to rob the news crew. That was a self-fulfilling prophecy. And sure enough, I get a phone call at 3 a.m. That Kevin was in the hospital. He had got shot because they did exactly what I said was going to happen. They robbed the store on one day. The next day, the news crew showed up and they robbed the news crews because they knew they were going to be there. It's a guaranteed setup. They're going to be there. We're going to rob them. We're going to get the gear. And in some cases, the cameras, you wonder why are they robbing the crews? In some cases, the gears are showing up in like South America, like the next day or 2 days later.
They're going on cargo containers.
Yeah, some stations were putting trackers in them to see where they go when they got stolen. And sure enough, well, one they tracked to Vallejo, so it didn't get shipped out yet. But most of them were like being tripped. They were like, and it's not just equipment; they're stealing cars too. There was a guy who had his car stolen, and 3 days later, he had a, what do you call it, an Apple thing in it? Apple AirTag.
Mm-hmm.
It was in South Africa.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, it was a video of it. They showed the car being pulled out of a container crate in South Africa with a tag on it. It was his car, had his registration inside and everything.
Wow.
Yep. They did catch the guy that caught the security guard. My only fear is, and it's happening right now, is that the DA over in Oakland is going to let him off or give him very light sentences. So, yes, they caught him, but will they serve time? I don't know. I really don't know.
And that's why sometimes if there's no penalty, that's why they keep going back out there and just doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah. So if you were driving down the street and you know that there was a red light, but you just ran every day and because nothing's going to happen to you, nothing because there's nobody ever around, you're just going to keep running it, right?
And nobody's ever going to give you a ticket.
Right. So why would you stop?
Same thing with like just crime in general.
I mean, unless you have a conscience and morals, people do what they want to do nowadays. Oakland DA will give them 5 years. Well, I mean, that's better than no years because in some cases they just dismiss it as like, oh, well, we'll just call it, driving without a driver's license or some crap like that. It's crazy. Now, you and I, we commit a crime, we get 30 years. Stanley Roberts stole a hot dog from 7-Eleven. Sentenced to 30 years in federal prison. I know, sounds kind of bizarre, but it's where we live in. The people like here that are trying to do the right thing.
Really, a hot dog?
I'm just saying. Remember the guy that got arrested for pizza? He sold a slice of pizza, and he got 25 years.
No, I don't remember that.
It was his third strike.
Oh, where was that?
Back east, I think it was.
Mm.
And you're right. Or they take a plea deal, and it happens a lot too. Well, I'll plead out to involuntary manslaughter and take 6 months with supervised probation. Hey, Terrence, you joined us just in time for us to say we're about to get good night. But good evening.
Good evening, Terrence.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So if you notice, if you just joined us, this is not a permanent setup. We just, if it was sunny outside, we couldn't do this because we'd be horribly backlit. Yeah,
but now that it's dark, and then you could see our light. Yeah. In the window.
Yes, you can see our light that's shining on me. And come on, like this. Keep on shining your light. All right, guys, we really appreciate you guys being here. We thank you, red and yellow and pink and green. Oh, remember that song?
No.
Okay. So anyway, it's very festive. Thank you, Spencer and Sherry Peters. We wanted to be a little bit festive, so you guys can know that we're really here, and we got the little, the 4K TV going with the fire. It's so realistic that it almost feels like I can feel the flames on the back of my neck.
No, it's just the heater.
It's just a heater.
Also, just going back to something that Maxim said. Maxim said, to change the subject, what is Diane's Christmas list? And the funny thing is I don't really have one. Like, there are things that I want, but like...
She has a Christmas list. I listen, and I absorb.
Absorb?
And I hear.
You mean observe?
No, absorb. Absorb, like a sponge.
Oh, okay.
I know what I meant.
So you're getting me some stuff that I want for Christmas?
Maybe, maybe not.
Okay.
I'm getting you 2 shiny reindeer with a red nose. You can call him Randolph. Randolph the red-nosed reindeer.
This is a good guy right here, guys. I'm sure you already know that. So yeah, I don't really have much of a list though.
She has a big list.
I don't.
She talks to her sleep.
What do I say in my sleep?
Oh man, that Bentley with the
I know
the hybrid Bentley.
I know I don't say none of that. I know I don't say none of that. I don't even want a Bentley. Nope.
Are you gonna get the hybrid Bentley if you can afford it?
If someone gave it to me, sure, but I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not buying that.
If you could afford it, you wouldn't buy it.
Probably not.
So if you won the lottery tomorrow for $700 million, and you can get a Bentley hybrid, you wouldn't buy it.
I'd probably invest in some stuff.
What would you buy?
You mean the car? I like the one I have.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not materialistic like that. You know that.
I know. But still, I'm asking you a question.
I mean,
if you had the ability to buy a Bentley that was a hybrid, I know you love hybrids.
I love hybrids.
Would you buy a Bentley hybrid?
I mean, I could see some other things I could probably spend my money on.
You have $700 million. It's only 200,000.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll buy you one. You want one? Because I don't care if I have one.
I don't really care for a Bentley. I like my car too, but I would like the LS class.
Okay, well, I don't know. Whatever.
I want the one with the massage seats.
She has a Stanley. No need for a Bentley. Yes, Betty. Yes.
My name is Stanley Bentley Roberts.
I have a Stanley. I don't need a Bentley.
Oh.
I love that answer. Yes, Gabriel, 4 days until Hanukkah. Or according to Smokey Robinson, Chanukah.
Oh, Smokey Robinson.
Yes, okay, Gabriel, thanks for the reminder. I'll look up November 15, 2020 episode or show. Christmas is just another, has been since 2002. Well, wishing you a very happy day. Merry day. I like that. She has a Stanley, no need for a Bentley.
I love it.
Oh,
but what about the maintenance?
The maintenance for what's more expensive, the maintenance for a Stanley or the maintenance for a Bentley?
Yeah.
I think the maintenance for a Bentley is more.
Okay. What if you put too much gas in it? No gas, no brakes. Gas, no brakes.
You release a lot of gas already. So. But the female version of Stanley. No, wait. What am I saying? Okay, let me stop. All right, guys.
I'm a millennial.
I'm a boomer.
And we do appreciate you guys being here. Remember, go to MrBadley.com or go to your website, which is
nourishmyheart.net.
And we're here. We are square, and we were whatever. But my name is Lenny.
And
I got you a penny. Remember, that's from
and I need some
Good
penny.
Times. And if you're really good, I'll get you a glass of Henny.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah. Lenny from Good Times.
Oh, yeah. No.
It's funny. Something that's funny. She's been watching like old movies.
Old shows. Oh, he had me watch What's Happening. And then we watched some episodes of The Jeffersons this morning. I was actually...
Oh, by the way, this is our final note.
What?
So The Jeffersons, what floor do they live on?
The second?
They moved up. So
they're on the... they got the penthouse, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So keep this in mind.
Okay.
They're on the penthouse.
Okay.
Which is way up in New York,
mm-hmm.
which back then was about 150,000, but now it's
150,000 for a penthouse.
Back then.
Dang, 150,000.
Back then, but now it's worth $4 million.
Dang.
But guess where it was filmed at?
Chicago.
Television City, CBS.
Really?
Now, how high does that building go?
That's not very high.
There you go. The magic of TV.
Wait, did you look it up today?
I did.
Okay. My name is Lenny, and I have plenty.
Yeah. Anyway, if you ever get a chance, guys, go watch Good Times again. It's just funny. It's when you watch it.
What's Happening is pretty funny too.
What's Happening is pretty funny. It's interesting though. It's funny. But anyway, thank you again. We already did the Millennial Boom thingy.
No, we didn't. You said I'm Lenny.
Oh, I'm Millennial.
You're what?
I'm Millennial.
I'm a boomer.
And if you guys don't know what that means, technically I'm a boomer. No, realistically, I'm a boomer. I'm a boomer in real life, but because I'm so tech savvy, I come across as a millennial. Now, she is a millennial in real life, but she is so no tech savvy that she comes off as a boomer.
And just so you guys know, he is like a very young boomer. He's a young boomer, like on the tail end, and I'm an elder millennial. So I'm like...
We're like
So just so y'all know, and I'm not his daughter.
Okay.
I will never be his daughter.
Can I tell a story before we go?
No, you cannot.
All right.
Wait, what story?
The one about today. About when your mom is with us?
Nah.
You sure? I think we should say it one time.
No,
Just
I think we should say it 0 times.
All right. I won't say that every time we're together and your mom...
Beef, stop!
All right. What? All right, guys. We appreciate you. Thank you very much, and good night. And we'll see you next week, hopefully.
See you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for listening to Millennial Boom with Diane Faith and Stanley Roberts. Millennial Boom and Reasons Why Aliens Will Never Invade Earth and Caught Misbehaving videos are made possible through viewer donations. Check out www.linktree.com/MrBadleyTV to see how you can help. See you next week.